Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Steven Inks. My name is Steven and today we are talking about a pen. This is the younger brother of the Twsbi Eco. It is the Twsbi Go. I've long admired the Eco for how versatile it is, how nice it looks, and just how all around practical and reliable it is as a pen. So I've always wondered about the Twsbi Go. Is it as good as its more famous brother? So we're going to look at this pen today. We are going to play around with it. We're going to do some drawings and we'll see what we think. On today's episode of Steven Gets Too Excited About His Pen, look what came in the mail today. It's my Twsbi Go, as it says on the sticker. I gotta say, I was so excited. I had a big old smile on my face when this arrived. I didn't know what to expect as far as packaging, and I haven't opened this yet, but I love the attention to detail on the packaging. It's so minimalist, and it has all the information that you need. There's a sticker holding it together in the back. This appears to be some kind of plastic with this craft paper cover and the Twsbi logo on the front. Just for reference, this is the packaging that my Twsbi Eco came in, and a price difference of about $10 between the two. This came with a lot of other stuff as well inside. You can see my video on the Twsbi Eco if you like. Still one of my favorite pens. So I'm not sure what to expect from this here, but I will be taking it out of the box and looking at the parts. And I brought my Twsbi Eco, still freshly inked, from my most recent usage, just to compare the two along the way and see what's the difference. All right, so so by the way, I did already show you this, but it's got the F for fine. I went with fine as opposed to my Eco, which is an extra fine. Just wanted to get a broader sense of what Twsbi's nibs are like. And it says go, and it says spring-loaded mechanism fountain pen. I believe this is because I have the smoke and clear version. I'll bet you it will be different colors if I got something else. Made in China. Yeah, let's get this open. I may even keep this packaging. Oh, look at that. It looks like Twsbi went ahead and put some more branding on the box. Cool. Should get this sticker off. Comes off pretty easy. And there we go. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Couple of things I noticed right away. First of all, I totally could continue to store this pen in this box. The size is just about perfect. A little more attention to detail from Twsbi. That nice little foam container kept the pen in pristine condition. At this price range, honestly, I've seen a lot of pens that just hand you the pen in a plastic sleeve. So I'm really impressed with Twsbi for not doing that. Before we go in here, let me look at the user manual. Okay, very simple. It's all graphical. It's got that pump piston with a little spring. It looks, I think, honestly, I thought these things looked kind of ugly when I first saw them, but I think they look kind of cool now. They look a little bit steampunk almost with that giant spring. Twsbi just owns that mechanism and makes it even stand out and be part of the pen, which I think is cool. I actually like this finial better than the Twsbi Eco one, which is just kind of flat and hexagonal. This has got a little bit of a roundness to it, and so I think that looks really cool. It's got a little loop here, so you can put a lanyard in it if you're cool. Don't try to be lame and put your pen on a lanyard. It's not going to work out for you. Looks like friction fit cap. You can see it's got a slip and seal. It says go on the side there. And the one thing that I am really curious about, which I'll look at in a minute, is this nib. How does it compare to the Eco? So a lot of threading here to unscrew the back. I think that's fine. That's probably a good idea to keep the pen secure. This is the pump piston mechanism. So this is what you would do to fill the pen with ink, is to just take this piston and push it down. Well, that's very satisfying. It kind of clicks. I don't know if you can hear that. I'll put it next to my microphone. I don't know, I like that. Okay, and then this is the reservoir for the ink. So the whole pen can't be filled with the ink. There's just this section right here, but I think that's enough. That's more than you get from a cartridge converter. So yeah, cool. This button feels very tactile and also very sturdy. I don't feel like this is gonna break or snap on me anytime soon. So that's great. And then here's the nib, and I'm just gonna take out my Eco real quick. Slightly dirtier nib, but I don't really see a perceptible difference between the two. So I'm glad that Twsbi included, here we go, some focus, the Eco nib with this Twsbi Go. It seems like it should be, hopefully it will be, the same writing experience. Let's see if I can pull, there we go, section and nib pulls right out. So if I decide later that I would rather have this Twsbi Go be my extra fine, where I have an extra fine in my Twsbi Eco, and have the fine for the Eco, I could switch these out just fine. Pardon my pun. All right, so as far as the actual mechanism, I don't know that, oh, it looks like it does. Okay, it does screw off. So, well, the spinning part screws off. So, I don't know, that might make it easier to lube the piston if needed later. There doesn't appear to be a way to really get in there, unless, of course, this comes loose. I don't want to break this pen on the first day. I'll save that for when I've had it at least a week, right? Anyway, let's, I'll put this back together and then we'll ink it up. Okay, so thinking about what ink I want to put in this Twsbi Go, I decided to go with Colorverse Delicious Sleep, just for the mere fact that I feel like I haven't used it in a while. Maybe I'm wrong. People who follow my channel regularly may have some comment about that, but I don't know. You'll notice I use the cycle through the same 5 to 10 inks on this channel over and over again. That's because that's the only amount of inks that I have, and I will not apologize for it. I like what I like, and I just keep using the same things that I like. So I'm hoping, I'm gonna do this two-handed so you can see better. I'm hoping that this is as much fun to fill as I think it will be. See if I can switch out the camera to go a little further back so you can see everything. There we go. I'm going to put the ink in past the fill line there, and we'll push down. Oh, there we go. That was one pump. And two, at 2 pumps, it looks pretty full. You can see there's that section in the middle where the feed meets the ink reservoir. But this section is where the ink's supposed to be, and that seems pretty full. So I'm gonna dab this off and we're gonna do some drawings for you. Right, let's do some lines. Please, nobody quote me out of context on that one. What I'm hoping to see here is something somewhat similar to how my Eco performs, but of course the fine nib that I have in this Twsbi Go is going to be hopefully juicier, a little bit wider than my Eco, which is an extra fine. So let's see. Right. So some quick hatches. Okay. There we go. I definitely see some wetness. But manageably fine lines. I am seeing, yeah, something that I can definitely work with. And the response, I'm very happy to say the response is very similar to my Eco. So that's nice. This is a nice little guy. Let's see. Shall I give you guys some art advice before we move on? Let me do a few more lines here. So this is a shaded sphere. Any of the kind of bleeding and feathering that's happening here, which you can kind of see is owing to the paper. It doesn't bleed through this render sketchbook, but there's a lot of stuff to be desired. So, and if I were looking at this, I'm going to do some reverse writing, and the reverse writing goes about back to where that extra fine nib would be. A little scratchy, but I don't mind it. So this is forward. And let me write reverse. Reverse. So a couple line weights you can get there. All right. Time for art advice. This is going to be a short one, but it'll take a long explanation. Harmony and contrast. This is something that I've been thinking about my entire life. As I've been a teacher in my professional career, I also had dreams of being a filmmaker. So when I was in college, I got my undergrad degree in film. Sometimes I wish I could go back in time and talk to 18-year-old me. I'd have some choice words for that guy, but he wouldn't listen to me. He was a little self-absorbed. But I learned a lot of useless information about pop culture and TV. But there was one thing that I learned that I am still very grateful for, and that is was in my visual design class. We learned the concept of harmony and contrast and how you can use them to create a good composition. And honestly, all good compositions are some element of harmony and contrast. For example, if I drew a bunch of straight lines and one squiggly line, your attention is drawn to the contrast, and the harmony is the lines that get out of the way. If I were to draw light squares, let's do this rule of thirds style. So I have 6 squares here, and I pick one that's going to be shaded, and the rest of them are in harmony with each other. The contrast is here. The harmony is everywhere else. That's going to cause a good composition. And everything in your composition should point to that place of harmony. So if I wanted to go even further, I could take, make these lines and have them all point towards this space right here that I'm trying to emphasize, even though they are not symmetrical or harmonious in the way that the lines go, they are harmonious in the way that the value is, that this is very dark and these are still pretty light. And the lines moving that direction create a focal point that is the thing that contrast does. Harmony is what takes things away, and contrast is what draws the eye in. So all of your compositions should include some kind of harmony and contrast, and you want to use contrast sparingly and harmony everywhere else. That's 4 years of film school education. I just saved you thousands of dollars. Now go out there and be somebody. My thought behind this set of drawings was actually to do drawings of myself, but it turns out I'm really bad at doing likenesses, so let's just say I'm doing studies of weird facial expressions using my own face as a model. I don't know if you could see me, the person that I am, in any of these little sketches, but hopefully you enjoy them. The one in the center makes me look like I am 57 years old. There's nothing wrong with being 57, but I am younger than that. So that's kind of the situation with me. I'm always working to improve stuff. Maybe you'll see a video in a year or two from me where I'm totally, absolutely nailing my likeness in portraiture, but that video is not today. It's the one I got right now. And now that I'm using the pen here, I want to point out a couple of things that, well, there are a lot of positive things about this pen, but there's some things that are not great. And one of them is that the nib, for some reason, has sort of an inconsistent skipping problem. This is the first pen that I've really had a huge issue with, besides the Etcher Lab pens that I reviewed a couple of videos back, but we don't speak of those. A little disappointing, honestly, for a reputable pen company like Twsbi to have sent out a nib like this. I don't know if it's something that could be serviced or if changing the nib would change the flow, but there was some skipping, and that was not fun for me to deal with. Other than that, this pen does have a very Twsbi-esque writing style to it. The flow is easy and fun when it's consistent, which is not all the time. But yeah, there it is. It's not a perfect pen by any stretch of the imagination. And I go into some more criticisms in a little bit, but hope you enjoyed my drawing. So some final thoughts on this pen. The Twsbi Go, I've got to say, even though it is not a bad pen, when I compare it to the Twsbi Eco, it comes up a little short for me. There are a couple of features that it has that really don't impress. I do find that the design is appealing to me, and this spring-loaded piston filling mechanism is pretty fun. Your own personal opinion may vary. I know a lot of people really hate this design and a lot of people really love it. When it comes down to the performance of the nib, I had some inconsistency and flow issues. I don't know if I got a bad nib or if the pen is naturally this way, but I also had a better experience with my Eco in that respect. And the fact that you can't take the pen completely apart for cleaning makes it a little bit of that's a negative for me. So all in all, I would recommend, even at the slightly higher price point of the Eco, it's a fantastic pen. The Twsbi Go is nice. If you can only afford that, I'd say go for it. But at the same time, I am still going to be using my Eco probably a lot more often than the Go. That wraps it up for this video. Thank you everyone for liking, subscribing, leave me a nice comment below. I hope you're having a great day, and as always, thank you for watching.